Hey everyone, welcome to workshop 6 of storytelling. We're at the sort of nearly finalization of the workshop series, which is lots of fun. Please excuse me today, I'm not feeling my best, so if I sound like I'm on 0.2 speed or just a bit gross, don't mind me. It's Melbourne winter is starting to catch up on me. So, I had a little exercise for you guys, but we are here. We are at workshop 6. We're going to go into prototyping next week. This workshop should be high energy, lots of fun, hopefully. And we're going to start to talk about how you're going to talk about how we're going to convey your pitch into a compelling narrative. And what does that look like? And what are some of the components of communicating your idea in a really engaging and fun way that allows the important messages to also be communicated. So congratulations, guys. You're at the second half of the second double diamond. How exciting. I mean, it's been a pretty interesting journey. We've spoken to some teams where they've had to go back to the drawing board multiple times and kind of evaluate their solutions, which is fantastic to see. All part and parcel of the process. And just a big round of applause for you guys, or pat on the back, because this process isn't easy. It can be quite annoying and tedious, quite repetitive, but you guys are here now, which is incredible. So claps to you all. So today we're going to look into pitching ideas or storytelling, what is required to tell a compelling narrative, why storytelling is such a powerful tool, and introduce some of those stepping stones towards writing and building a compelling pitch or story. As you guys are well aware, Thursday, 21st of July is our virtual showcase, and there'll be two types of awards: the People Choice Award, which is, as the name suggests, the pitch that is won over by the choice of the people, and the Judges Award. So as you guys are all aware, there is a panel of judges that will be assessing your pitches, and some of the assessment criteria for that are clear communication of challenge and demonstrated understanding, creativity and innovation of solution, appropriateness of solution, so how well it addresses the challenge that you're working with, and delivery of the presentation. And to kind of give you a flavor of what a pitch or a final pitch showcase can look like, this is one of the pitches that was done in person, but just to give you a bit of a flavor, we're going to play it to you. We've also got a series of examples of various pitches done by Smart Seeds in the past on your mural boards, and Kay will also be sharing the links on YouTube that you guys can go and see how other teams have pitched in the past before. But just to give you a bit of a taste of what's in store. Can you guys hear okay?
So we're here today at the University of Canterbury for the Smart Seeds Showcase 2021 in Christchurch.
We've got teams who are presenting the culmination of 10 weeks worth of work. They've been responding to challenges that were set at the beginning of the program.
So our challenge was to inspire green urban infrastructure in Otatahi.
Shifting perception around recycled materials.
Addressing digital infrastructure for mental health and wellbeing.
Cleaning up our urban waterways.
Our challenge was to find a way to use digital twin technology to assist with sustainable infrastructure planning in Christchurch.
Everyone's an expert in their own wellbeing. And with this platform, we're looking to encourage collaboration, inspiring people to start their wellbeing journey.
Join Resource to shift the perception and make recycled materials the genuine first choice.
Get te ora te wai, get te ora te whenua, get te ora te tangata. If the water is healthy, the land and the people are nourished.
By promoting digital twins, we hope to benefit today and exceed tomorrow.
An immersive and integrated green city that is internationally recognised. You will be helping move our city towards this vision.
Smart Seed's great for Christchurch because it's good ideas that are going to make a difference and can be used tomorrow rather than in a year's time.
The old way of stuffy old rooms, decisions being made for other people's future are long gone. I think the more we can involve the younger generation in the big decisions we're making, the better.
And the judge's choice is Hoki Mai Te Wao, the forest return. Our congratulations.
What I'm really looking forward to seeing is these future leaders really grow into their role, really take what they've learned from this program and really think about how they can influence change within their own business. Put a really human-centred approach to some of the challenges that they're facing. So good.
Love it.
So naturally, ours will be a bit different given that it's a virtual showcase. And if you're someone that maybe doesn't like going up on stage and pitching, then you're in luck. But the essence of what you guys are going to be going through is very similar. You know, sharing your ideas to a series of panels, sharing your compelling speech, and it's meant to be a very fun and exciting experience. I mean, it can seem daunting watching the video, being like, oh my god, I have to present to a whole bunch of people, but like I said, it's here for the experience and for you guys to really understand what it's like to get up there and communicate an idea that you guys have spent so long fleshing out and getting used to what this process is like. So if you wish to do this again in the context of your own jobs or perhaps a side hustle, you have the skills and tools to understand what's required. And that's really the main part, the main purpose of this program. Now, to go a bit into detail of how we're going to be creating your virtual pitches, what's entailed, how we have some partnerships to help you, I'm going to just quickly hand it over to Kate to talk through this.
Thanks, Rads. Can you stay on this screen for now?
Sure.
Just go back. Essentially, because we will all be meeting virtually as we have been on Zoom for the virtual audience, it means, unfortunately, we don't get to see you all in person, which is definitely a shame. But on the other hand, it means you actually have an incredibly wide audience that can come and attend virtually for the showcase. So that can be, we invite a lot of people who are supporters of Smart Seeds or kind of the program and the, I suppose, the ideology, also your people. So we'd love to have the people from your organisation or your own peers, your own colleagues, managers, to come and actually see what you have been working on and have created over the last 10 or 12 weeks. And we also have, I suppose, a wider network and innovation ecosystem of people that we invite to see the work that you've done, especially because these topics are just so pervasive in Australia at the moment. So it definitely means you'll have a wide mix of people who you will be presenting to. But on the day, essentially, we will have a third-party kind of like a virtual event coordinator who's going to be doing a lot of the switching behind the scenes. What will actually happen is we'll get you online in each of your teams, and there will be a set way that you introduce yourselves introduce yourself to the judges. Then we play your 2-minute pitch video, and then you'll have a 5-minute Q&A with the panel of judges. And the point of that essentially is not only to have a very established industry person to ask you a few questions, but also it helps to clarify things you couldn't put into the video. It might be things, the long-term, kind of long-term vision or other areas that maybe they have questions on and you haven't addressed. It gives you a chance to actually flesh out your thinking or even some of the challenges that you faced when you're exploring the solution. When it comes to the 2-minute video, essentially, if you're thinking you have mad video editing skills, you're an avid TikToker or YouTube creator, that is absolutely fine. And you want to put some of that to good use. Essentially, what we want to showcase at the end of the day is just a really compelling message about what your solution is, what the problem is, what your solution is, how it's going to benefit people, what's the call to action you want people to leave with, as well as obviously having a bit of a high resolution video that we can show during showcase. If that is not in your kind of skill set, that's totally fine as well. So you will be working with a group called InspireWorks, And so, Rads, if you can go to the next slide, InspireWorks does video production. So they will be working with each team to develop your 2-minute pitch video. It's like there's so much you can pack into the 2 minutes. And we have got, so I'll send this to you afterwards. You don't have to kind of absorb it all now. But essentially what your team will be doing is essentially being kind of like the executive director of your own pitch blockbuster video. You will be setting the messaging and the feelings about what you want the audience to take away. The storyboard that Rad is going to take you through in this workshop, you will be using that to help guide InspireWorks in terms of what they're putting in their video, what's the sequence of events, what's the build up, what's the kind of key things you want them to highlight. You can choose your own, they've got like an extensive library of stock footages, stock image, stock music. So you can give them some guidance to say, look, you know, I want to find images that give people a feel about climate effects in Australia or the recent floods in New South Wales and Brisbane. I want some of that footage in there as some of the background, and they can do that for you, as well as you will each need to provide a bit of voiceover in the video. So this is in lieu of being able to have each of you on stage, is for each of you to contribute to the video by having at least a voiceover. It can just be your voice, or it can be kind of a self video of you. Both are fine. From the InspireWorks side of things, you will have a production manager who will work with each of your teams. They will find the stock videos and stock music. If you have like a bit of a technical type thing, or you said, look, I have this like fancy diagram, I want this to show up first, this to show up second, or this to fade away, they can also do those animations for you. And of course, they clip it together in 2 minutes. And make sure that it's good for us to showcase at the event. They'll also have one consultation, like kind of team consultation with you to go through the video. Next slide, please. As well as they use a kind of video review tool called Webster. And that allows them to essentially upload a draft video, and then each of you can review review what they've done, put little markers and comments directly onto the video. So you can see here that people can leave comments on different areas of the videos. It identifies who said what, and then it just shows what the InspireWorks team has to fix or change, or they can go, oh, you know, Simone, you had this comment, I don't really understand. Can you tell me a little bit more about that? So that tool is there as you work with them. And next slide, please, Rad. Just a bit about timelines. Essentially, what they'll be doing is producing 5 2-minute videos in really short succession. So you all have it available to you at the same time. If we kind of look at the timings backward, 21st of July is the showcase. So you'll well and truly have your videos kind of done and dusted before then. There is a technical dry run of the showcase the week before, and that's walking you through what we'll be using as the tools for running the showcase, when the sequence of when you're going to be on, and if you have any technical difficulties, etc. So essentially, we want to get the final video done before then, and it also gives a bit of a buffer if there's any kind of major problems or major kind of line changes. We also have about a week's buffer to make those final edits. On the 28th of June, you've got the pitch practice workshop, where we actually get you to do almost like a run through of the intro, your draft pitch video, as well as a mock Q&A with some pitch coaches, which means counting back, on the 22nd of June, the TBA on that date is when we want your storyboard to be sent to InspireWorks to create the first draft video. And they will essentially turn around 5 different videos in time for the pitch practice. So that gives you an idea in terms of what you're creating today, essentially, will become the basis of how it gets turned into the video. Now, I apologize for talking so quickly. I do realize I speed up as I go along, which is not great presentation skills, by the way, and we'll give you some of those along the way. I will send this to you afterwards so that you've got this in your you can read it back, as well as links to the past programs videos. They're not, I suppose, Hollywood movie type productions, so you don't have to worry about that too much. It really is about what is the message and the feeling that you're trying to get across, and that's what we are going to be going through in this workshop today. And so, are there any questions? Because we definitely want to make sure that this all makes sense to you. If you do have questions about this and you think about it kind of during the workshop today, just throw it into the chat and I'll get back to you. If not, send it to me via email once you get a chance to digest. Thanks, Rads.
Thanks, Kay. We know it's like a lot for you to think about right now, but we will send all this information. So if we right now we'll just switch and focus to the storytelling part, which is I guess the first part of creating your compelling narrative that you guys will be showcasing for the virtual showcase. So what is a pitch? So I'm going to make this very short and snappy because I have a couple of really cool things that I'd like to show you guys. So what is the purpose of a pitch? Like, why do we even do this? So you've put all this work into fleshing out an idea, developing a solution, and now you want to make it real. And what if this could be something and you could turn it into a compelling solution? A story really enables you to bring your audience in a compelling way, get their emotional engagement, and foster emotions of trust that really make them feel, once you've taken them on a journey, compelled towards your particular solution. It's that human element that reels someone in, because yes, data is good, having the facts are there, but that additional layer of excitement and journey that reels the audience in is what really differentiates a subpar pitch from an incredible pitch. And it's this engagement and sort of high energy and communicating of ideas is what we're going to focus on today. So as I mentioned, the emotional engagement really matters. So you'll notice in various brands use this tactic, like Pepsi, Coca-Cola, and Apple, to really leave the audience feeling with that feel-good factor. You know, so often you hear a particular tune and you go, oh my God, that's the tune from this ad. And these are examples of brands really successfully using storytelling and I guess association to really reel in consumers to make that stickiness there. And that's what a good story does. It creates a bond between the storyteller and the listener. And when a connection is made, it releases oxytocin. So, you know, that feel-good feeling, directing a sense of trust. And when you create trust with an audience, you're creating a bond, which is important because you want to reel your audience into your key message. You want them to stick, and that stickiness is not done. Data helps, but that stickiness is really created by good storytelling. So as I mentioned, it's that kind of magic. So the best storytellers are often authentic, and what that looks like and what being unauthentic looks like, I have a couple of examples of this on the mural board for you. In particular, there is an ad from Samsung on your boards as an example of what bad storytelling looks like. And the reason why this particular brand is communicating this story particularly not so successfully is because you can tell that the personas and people that they have used to create this advertisement is not authentic. Like, when you watch the video, you see the various customer personas that they have to promote the particular product. Doesn't feel real. It feels very artificial. You'd almost leave by going, would someone actually use this solution or brand, because it doesn't feel authentic. So when you're communicating something authentically, there's that sense of trust. It's often infectious. We all know someone in our friendship groups that's a good storyteller, and they're a good storyteller because they're able to captivate you. So that's what we mean by being able to tell a good story. Now, I know I've articulated various things that make a good story, but we're going to go into sort of how we're going to do that in the subsequent slides. But it would be great if you guys in the chat could share what you think what makes a good story, or the best storytellers are people that can do what. So the power of telling a good story. So this survey done by Contently found that 71% of consumers prefer buying from brands when they share their values and share that narrative. 83% of millennials say it's important for companies to buy, it's important for the companies they buy from to align with their beliefs and values. And organizations generally do this a lot by conveying their brand and values through story. 76% of 18 to 34-year-olds like it when CEOs of companies they buy from speak out on issues that they care for. So all of these things are things that you can intertwine into your narrative to build trust and create that kind of bond. So what does good storytelling look like? So I'm going to show this story by Southwest Airlines, and what makes it so compelling, this 175 stories, is that there are 175 seats on the Southwest Airlines Boeing 737 planes, and every seat tells a story. So the point of this initiative is to capture that. So when Southwest Airlines developed this marketing campaign, it focused on sharing the stories of the people that are on these seats. So they created an interactive microsite called 175 Stories. And I'll play the advertisement for you, but the purpose of this is that you could, with consumer consent, scroll on the chairs of the aircraft, and it will hover to the actual person that was sitting on the chair and share their story. So without further ado, I will play the ad for you. Just let me know if anyone has sound issues.
You know, telling the world about 175 stories is putting a mirror in front of the world, because it's about the journeys that they take. It's about all of our more than 115 million passengers that we fly every year. It's their stories. It's the new and exciting adventure. It's the job offer. It's the lost love that you're trying to win back. It's the final goodbye. It's all of these things, and being able to tell them in so many different ways with all the mixed media that we've been able to apply to it has been so exciting. I mean, again, GSD&M did a wonderful job creating 175stories.com. They killed it. They killed it on the mobile experience. They killed it on the desktop. And what's been really cool is to see all of these teams working together serendipitously to feed the hub with content. Most of these stories, the majority of these stories are real stories. The passengers are being captured either after their story happened and they're doing a bit of a recounting of sorts, or we caught wind of something that they're trying to do that's really exciting, that we are then able to go and plan and celebrate them in the gate area, or celebrate them in flight, or just say, hey, do you mind if we tag along with a camera and get one of our videographers on board? So, figuratively and literally.
So I'll pause it there, but the 175 stories grabbed great success because it was communicating, I guess, the emotional part of why people engage with an airline service, whether it's to go and see your family you haven't seen in years, or to connect with people. An example of one of the passengers was on seat 4D, they met a girl called Wen, a little girl who had a lung transplant as a baby and has to fly frequently to the St. Louis Children's Hospital for treatment. When she grows up, Wen's dream is to be a pilot. So it's about creating the emotional connection and kind of, I guess, going deep into the feelings of why we fly. And it was a great success. another good example of, and in the comment section, it would be wonderful for you guys to share what you think makes these particular examples that I'm showing to you particularly effective. This one recently played last year on Australian television. Personally, I think it's a genius ad, and it'd be great to know why you guys think that this particular ad shows the power of storytelling.
Continue straight for 300 meters.
Love is everything.
Just pretend you're scooping your ice cream. Like this. Yes, that's it.
Love is everything because love makes the world go round. Love is a foundation of our soul.
Several times around your foot and ankle.
Mate, your daughter's having a blinder.
What is a blinder?
Love is the greatest feeling that any person could have.
Messi, that was a blinder.
Thanks, Papa.
That's what love is.
So again, creating that feeling that we've all had before of using Google to solve many things that we do in our everyday lives and compose the emotions of the scene well, that's correct. And just creating that emotional connection of the various touch points and things we would use Google for. I have another one from Apple, but I will finish on a more creative / one I'm sure we can all resonate with by the Carlton Brewery. Let me just see if I can get it up because I couldn't link it to our PowerPoint. Can you guys all still see my screen? Bear with me one moment.
Yep, you're seeing it load.
To the pub, the local, the front bar, the rubbity. To the scoeys, to the sevens, to the pots, the pints, the ponies, and the ponies, and the dogs, and to sure things and shartin. To the sticky carpet and roaring fires, to the dance floor. To the cheeky beer, the quiet beer, here, hold my beer. To the G&T, house white, just a light, it's quiet tonight. To in off the black. Singlets and skivvies, to triple 20s, to the bouncer, the bussy, the licensee, to the boys, the girls, the old man, the first date, the last date, to wetting heads, to working late, to fallen mates, to kick it long, $2, 3 songs to the winner, trivia Newton-John, to cock rock and rock gods, to acoustic wonders, wailing Wonderwall, to last drinks, taps off, kicking on, house lights, call it a night, to leaving quietly, for sake of the neighbours, to the pub.
Okay, so the reason why I showcased all these examples, because some of you may be thinking, what relevance does this have, is to really articulate the power of telling a conveying narrative. Like once you've seen ads like this, the ads are so successful of creating that emotional connection towards them, of creating that semantic stickiness that, you know, if by articulating an experience that many of us have had before, you know, the various reasons why we go to a pub, or, you know, those big nights out we've had, or, you know, the times we've needed to go on Google to search for something. These ads are extremely successful in articulating a story that is so human to us all, that we can all relate to, and having that stickiness. I'm just going to open the chat to see if there are other comments there. So yeah, that emotional connection, all of these brands are so successful at conveying their story in a way that emotionally resonates with their audience. So what does that mean for you guys, and what are some steps that we can take to articulate your story in a way that not only articulates what you want to say and the main points behind your solution, but saying it in a way that's human, authentic, and builds that connection that we've seen through these examples? So the purpose of a pitch is to gain attention, to pique interest and curiosity, build credibility, ask for something, and listen for an opportunity. So there are two parts to pitching, and we're going to explore these in our activities today. The first part is building the emotional engagement with the storytelling, and the emotional engagement part is what a lot of the examples did today. So we have this canvas that we're going to go jump onto Mural in one of our activities, and this canvas is an industry standard way of understanding and really mapping out how you want your audience to think and feel and respond to when you pitch your solution. So in order to build that engagement, you need to map it out. So this map will allow you to map out your current state of your audience. What are they currently thinking? What are they currently hearing? What are they currently saying and doing? What are they currently seeing? What are some of the pains that they have? What are some of the gains that they currently have? Versus what you would like them to think, feel, and say after they've heard your pitch or heard your idea. What is your brand? What makes you so unique? What are the key words that you use to articulate why you are special? What is your brand and purpose? And what connection and impact are you going to make? And out of those things, what are you going to prioritize in terms of the experience you want to give your audience? So our first kind of little exercise is to map out how your audience is currently feeling versus how you want them to feel after they've heard your ideas. So then we go into the storyboarding and the structure of your pitch. And don't be alarmed, all of this is going to be on your mural board. I'm just explaining in advance. So what is the problem? What is the solution? What are some examples? So how does it work? What is the impact that your idea has? How is it going to make a difference? What is the team? So this is where the credibility comes in. Why should we pick you guys over other people? What do you bring to the table that's particularly unique? What is your roadmap? So how will this be sustainable? How can we trust that this is a long-term solution? And the final one, what is your ask? What do you want us to do in order to make this to come to life? I'll go into sort of what the pitch canvas is when we go and do that activity, because we are short for time, but we'll essentially be using this structure on Mural today called the Storyboard canvas. And what this canvas is an industry-wide or industry accepted way of creating a pitch, be it for 2 minutes like you guys are going to be doing for your pitch, or for a 15-minute board presentation, in order to sort of storyboard your story in a logical and compelling way. This is generally the best way to do it. So we have the first, in the blue here, we have the various boxes of the questions that you want to answer, and this kind of dictates the flow of your story. So number 1, problem. Invite us to feel the pain. What is the problem that you're trying to solve? The solution. Make us desire your solution. And you'll see to the right of these boxes here, once you've articulated your answers to these in 1 or 2 sentences, that's where you can start to add some of that verbal, your script. This is essentially where you'll be writing your draft script for each of these particular boxes. And when you put these boxes together in this order, you'll realize that you've started to form the basis of your script and your story. I've done a lot of talking. So before we go into Mural, I've shown a lot of examples. I've shown a lot of theory. Does anyone have any questions or any remarks from what we've heard or seen today, or just any personal examples of good storytelling they've either done themselves or experienced, and what made it so good? Don't make me pick on you guys. Alex, was there anything in the examples or in your own experience that particularly resonated, that was what was shared today?
Is this me, Alex?
Yes.
Okay, yeah, I really liked the flight one and having some connection with people on the flights. I think you always get on this really small kind of nerve-wracking journey, and to be able to kind of see that the other people have stories and journeys, I thought that was really interesting.
Yeah, thank you. Haneen, how did you find the examples, or do you have any good examples of stories? Okay. I think we'll get kick-started into the activities. So, everyone can see my screen? No, no one can see my screen. Bear with me. Okay, so for our activities today, the first activity we have, you guys are going to be broke out into breakout groups for 10 minutes. We are running slightly on overtime, but that's okay. For 10 minutes, we're going to break out into your activities, and following on from the previous workshop that we had, reflecting on your co-creation canvas, right in the space below, and we've provided a framework to do this, is write down one sentence that describes your solution or idea. Like, if you could describe your solution in one sentence, what would it be? And we have a bit of a framework for you to do that in case you get stuck. Don't forget to insert your unique value proposition, or what makes you different where you see fit. So we're going to do that for 10 minutes before we dive into the storytelling canvas. So we're going to put you out in breakout groups now, and I'll see you guys back in 10 minutes. Hi guys, welcome back. That was slightly chaotic, I understand, but hopefully the purpose of that 10 minutes of going into your groups and creating a sentence that articulates solution is to be really crystal on what your final idea is, and how you want to, I guess, if you can't articulate it in one sentence, that means there's more work to be done, I guess, in terms of refining it. So it really helps you sort of crystallize what it is that is your solution. Going around the room, so for achieve sustainable places, does anyone want to share what their one sentence to articulate their solution was?
We might have to give away too much to say this. I'm scared to give away where we've got to. No, I guess no one's got the same thing, same category, so I'll just go for it. This is a work in progress.
Yeah.
Please feel free to laugh at the business name as soon as you hear it. So Smart Seats offers smart street furniture and public realm styling, which captures meaningful data to inform sustainable placemaking for developers and councils, so that they can measure successes and understand how to improve in the future.
Love it. It's a great start, and tied it really well. So great job, guys. And love the name. Affordable housing. How did you guys go with your one sentence articulation of your idea?
So I think I'll speak for the group.
Sure.
So we've titled it the Hygge Project. So the Hygge Project aims to provide youths aging out of foster care with the necessary housing, skills and support to assist them with their transition into adulthood.
Brilliant, thank you. I like how succinct that was. Thank you so much, Catherine. Bear with me one moment. Voices of communities. How did you guys go with your one sentence articulation?
It's Amanda from our team. We have worked out that we need to do more work.
Okay, that is perfect. That's good. Yeah. That's the whole purpose of this whole thing. And like I said, guys, in all the other workshops, The purpose of these activities are to kickstart the thinking. The refinement happens outside of these workshops. So if you find you need to go back to the drawing board or start to refine, hopefully you leave this workshop with the tools to do so. And you guys have us for support, but don't feel like you're behind or like, oh shivers, it's not done yet, because that's the whole purpose of sort of refining in between now and the next one. So thanks so much, Voices of Communities. Climate resilience team, how did you guys go?
We also need to do more work. I think from like the feedback that we got from the pivot coaches and stuff, we came up with like a new how might we and stuff. And we kind of know the idea of what we want, but we need to just be less broad. So we need to choose a specific product and or service. So we will be getting onto that.
No worries. Yeah, a word of advice. Yeah, you can't boil the ocean, although we want to, and it's so easy to, because when you start off, it's so broad, but that sort of funneling down to what is actually what you're addressing is so important. And it sounds like you guys are on the right track to do that. So awesome. And finally, post-pandemic communities.
Yeah, similar. We need to do more work, but it did help us identify that we have our client and what we want the solution to be. It's just like, what is the solution is sort of where we're at. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, hopefully this exercise kind of helped you guys realize where in the process you guys are at and what you need to do. And as always, if you have any concerns or questions with that, we're always here, as well as your challenge champions and the Smart Seeds alumni, because they've gone through it as well. So they're a good resource to tap into as to how they kind of went about tackling their problem. We are smashing through time this afternoon. I don't know what's in the water, but the second exercise I would like you guys to do is, as I said earlier, was the first part of storytelling is mapping out how you want your audience to feel. So what we're going to do now is you guys are going to take a stab at mapping out the emotions you want to tell through your story. So what is your audience thinking, feeling? What do you want them to hear, see, and do now versus after you've presented your idea? What is your brand? What is the connection and impact you want to make? Given that we are smashing through time today, it's an individual activity in your breakout rooms for 10 minutes. Then use the second 10 minutes to collectively brainstorm this canvas as a cohort, sharing your ideas of what you guys came up individually, and then coming together to kind of start to finesse what this canvas would look like. So you guys have 20 minutes in total. Use the half and half as you will. You might want to spend 5 minutes and then do the rest as a group, but definitely spend some time alone filling out this canvas before coming together as a group. But the ratio is entirely up to you. But you guys have 20 minutes. And if you guys need more time, just chuck it in the chat and we can definitely add more time and move things around. So if it's going too fast, just give us a hoy. And I'm here if you guys need any assistance at all. Is the canvas clear before we put you out into breakout groups? Is there anything particularly confusing, or does anyone have any questions? All right. If you do have any questions, just feel free to privately ping me as well.
This meeting is being recorded.
Hi, everyone. Welcome back. Hopefully you guys enjoyed mapping out how you would go about making your audience feel and mapping out the first part of your storyboarding. So I'm going to share my screen and throw it back to you guys to talk us through how each team went. So I'm going to start off with post-pandemic communities first. Would someone like to come off mute and talk us through how you guys found the exercise?
This exercise particularly was pretty good. I think the emotion aspect of our question was, we have a lot to say there, so hence why I would sort of, put it all in there. How would you like me to take you guys through it just around the.
Yeah, sequentially would be good.
Okay, so we went through, I guess, think and feel, because our question is targeted towards, elderly people. We've had, loneliness, frustration, sadness, anxiety, just there's a lot of sadness there and that's what we want to focus on. Then comes to the hearing aspect of it, just like what do you hear on a daily basis when you are feeling these emotions? So more, don't know when this will end, like you're going to be in this for the long haul, you just need to learn, or it's for your own good. Things you hear on the news, on social media, just everyday words, I guess. Then we've got, I'm trying to zoom into the screen because I can't see it, but just give me 1 second. Oh, thank you. Say and do, what sort of stuff they would say, and from what we've heard, they'll say stuff like, I want to get out and see my children and grandchildren again. Don't know how to use my phone because not everyone's tech savvy. I don't want to live like this anymore. The one thing we all sort of heard constantly was, this is stupid. This is so stupid. Get us out of here. And, how do I get my groceries? I can't even drive anymore. Then what does the customer see? So you see people engaging online without them, so they feel isolated. They see a lot of news. They're constantly on the news, looking for updates. What's next? They see other families that can be together, but you can't be with yours.
Interesting. And in terms of so lots of heavy emotions given the subject in the feeling area, which is not fantastic, but it's good that you guys are able to map out the current state really well. I guess now moving on to the desired outcome, and I'll move through it a bit quickly. How did you guys kind of find mapping that?
In terms of, so we don't have a robust solution just yet, so we're still working on that. But what we'd like for them to feel after we've come up with something is a bit more, the fact that they're a little bit more relieved from the solution, they're self-independent, they're calm rather than panicking in isolation or during pandemic. And then for them to think that it's a lot more easier to connect with their families and still be able to, have their routine in place without changing too much for them. So incorporate our idea into their routine rather than change their routine to something new.
Yeah, of course. Okay, wonderful. Thank you, post-pandemic communities. Climate resilience. Tell us how you guys went.
So like we mentioned before, we didn't really know what our sentence was previously, so we spent a lot of this session talking about it first, and then we filled it up individually, so we didn't really have the chance to come together to talk about it. But I think we basically just decided to provide a climate resilient Green Star rating system for infrastructure authorities and systems to be able to rate themselves, and then that can be provided publicly and to the community, etc. So a lot of it was in terms of what those authorities would be thinking and feeling, etc. So they would want to, like, for example, if they failed that rating, they would be thinking, oh, I'm not prepared for a climate shock event. Or they would just be thinking, oh, this wouldn't happen to me until it does, for example. Wait, are we supposed to go through every single section?
No, you can talk through it at a high level if you're more comfortable, because you guys did it individually. That's totally fine.
Yeah, if anyone else from the team wants to jump in, please do. But yeah, we just didn't come together at the end to discuss everything. But yeah, so basically.
How did you guys feel mapping this out, given that you guys still sort of figuring out what your final sort of solution is?
I think us doing it individually gave us a lot of things to think about because everyone's own ideas came through, and like I feel like we put in a lot of points, but we would have to come together to refine it for sure. We did come together for the promise at the end, and we discussed that quickly. So just really quickly, we promised to provide a clear and transparent assessment to measure an organization's level of climate resilience to ensure accountability to the community. So I think that that kind of sums it up in terms of everything else that we put in.
Great work, guys. There's a lot there. And as I said, like, yeah, we use these sessions to get started. And I'm sure by once you guys have refined and come together next week, you'll sort of start to have that light bulbing moment of, okay, this is how we're going to tailor it. So fantastic work here. It sounds like you guys are on the right track.
Thanks.
Okay, voices of communities. Would someone like to come off mute and share how they went through? You don't have to go by, feel free to just talk through it at high level if you don't want to go into detail.
Yep, we can do that. I'll jump in. So as we haven't decided on, like we were still trying to narrow down our solution. So we went through here. So we are trying to give power to the youth so that they are more involved. So we were trying to find their current state, like my feedback doesn't matter, or even if I have a say, it won't make a difference, not being heard, and we won't get the right solution, or the businesses have already decided on their solution. So there would be no gain in being involved. And what they see is like physical changes being made in the community, and they may not like they're not involved in it personally, or community members not being involved in making decisions and in say and do. So they complain on social media, they criticize what's being done, the government or the businesses, or they'll completely ignore or be absent from the process. Pain points being like they lack awareness, knowledge, they don't know the process, they lack trust. And when we go to here, so they know that like the customer thinks that it's just word of mouth, or they don't listen, we want to hear your feedback, like those kinds of things that the businesses say to them. So after we provide provide a solution, give them more power, and their involvement is there, they see they have made a difference, they'll think like my voice does matters, or I have made some positive change now. And this will lead to like they might say this was worth my time and I have gained something, and they'll be more satisfied and happy with the approach. Also, if they're more involved, it will like they'll motivate others, and it spreads like to increase more engagement.
Yeah. Well, thank you, Voices of Communities. There's lots of like it can tell that you guys are starting to map out sort of where people are now, sort of where you want them to be, and it's all starting to form. So it seems like you guys are sort of in that forming stage, and it'll be awesome to see where you guys land for next week. Affordable housing.
So I might just speak for our group. So we kind of looked at target audiences two audiences at first. We talked about our potential who we were presenting to audience, but then also like the customer, as in the youths that this whole project is centered around. So what did we want people to see? So obviously there's a rise in case of homelessness in at-risk youths in our community. And we're trying to provide a impact to change that. So going to number 2, what is our desired kind of outcomes from people reading our presentations would be, you know, for them to feel compelled and empowered, have empathy, and really feel like get involved and provide us with, you know, assistance and funding and help. So that's kind of our aim. Number 3, our brand. It's really something that, you know, it benefits the community. We're providing an all-encompassing wraparound support network. But we really need, I guess, diverse partnerships from a lot of different players. And then connection and impact. So obviously our connections will be, there's lots of benefits to our whole society if we can achieve what we're planning on striving for, and then, increases accessibility of affordable housing. And just for our promises, like we promise to create, the best environment for individuals as they move into the next phase of adulthood in their lives.
Thank you.
That's us in a nutshell.
That's awesome. Lots of, I look forward to see how this flushes out and how you guys create that experience for young people. But thank you so much, Catherine. Finally, sustainable place. Would someone like to jump off mute and talk at a high level? Anyone? Okay, then I will leave sustainable place, but I look forward to hearing you guys during the pitch of what your solution is, because it looks like there's a lot of awesome thinking here. So moving on to our next activity, because we are running short of time. So our activity, you have now mapped the emotional experience that you want your audience to achieve, how you plan on sort of getting that stickiness and emotional connection, mapping out how you want them to feel. That's how they're feeling now, this is how you want them to feel, which is all well and good. But we are now going into storyboarding. So how do you put the different facets of your idea together to a comprehensive narrative that 1, makes sense, 2, takes the person on a journey, and 3, creates that emotional stickiness? So the best way to do this is through a storyboarding canvas. And this is how this is applicable to anything, whether you want to propose a business idea within your organization, whether you want to take your idea to a couple of VCs to get funded, whether you decide to take this solution forward. The storyboarding canvas is the best way to convey your narrative, and make sure you've kind of ticked all your I's and dotted all your T's. So how this is going to work is, as a group, you have 20 minutes to sequentially go through each box in sequential order of, what you need to solve is in the first box here, in the blue here. So problem. So invite us to feel the pain. When did you learn about your challenge? How did you feel, and how did your client feel? So essentially, in 1 succinct sentence, tell us about the problem that you're here to try to solve and why it's important. And you can write that as a succinct sentence and pop an image here if you like. And then sort of what is the script that you want to add when you're articulating your problem? So you're using this section here on the right to essentially write up your draft script for this particular scene, if you will. Then you go into solution. So what are you going to do to make us desire your solution? And what's your solution, and why is it better than the other solution? So in a succinct sentence, what is your idea bringing to the table, and why is it desirable? Then you go into an example. So show us how your solution works. So your previous slide is what is your idea? The second is how. The third is how does it work? What does it do? Then the impact. Oops, sorry guys, I didn't lock my own board. Impact. So convince us why the impact it's going to make. What can this achieve, and what is the impact of it, and how is it going to drive change to addressing your challenge? Team, so why you? What makes you as a bunch of individuals credible with your idea, and why should we pick a bunch of you guys or your team over other teams that currently exist or other solutions out there? 6, roadmap. So bring us on the journey. So what steps are you guys going to take from here onwards, from your pitch, to go from now to making your idea actually happen? And finally, the ask. What do you need from the people in front of you? Now, with this ask part, a lot of the time in the real world, you know, it might be a financial number or something, or you might ask people to reduce waste, for example. That could be a particular ask. But just know that when we're going through the Smart Cities program, the sort of, you know, the financials, the return on investment, we want X amount of blah for you to invest in idea. This is not the kind of route we kind of delve into during the course of the Smart Seeds program. But if there is a final ask for your audience in the in your presentation, which is important, which is a very, very important component to your presentation, this is the part where you put it on, where you add it in, sorry. But yes, so this is the best way, or the most logical way to sort of put your thoughts in a flow that kind of takes someone on the journey of, okay, I see your idea, I know how you got to it, this is how it's going to work, this is the impact you're going to make, this is why you should trust us over someone else, this is how we're going to bring it to life, and finally, as an audience member, this is what I want you to do. This is your call to action, and that's the final step is your opportunity to really anchor your judges or your people in. So we now have 20 minutes for you guys in your breakout rooms to go out and collectively tackle each of these boxes. And as usual, your homework will be reflecting on this workshop. If you need to finesse your one sentence, if you need to finesse your emotional mapping, and if you need to finesse your storyboard, the homework task between now and next week is for you guys to go back into your teams and refine all of this, so you have a comprehensive, you have a robust pitch, script, and storyboard and emotional map and one sentence to articulate your solution by the next workshop. I'm going to stop there. Does anyone have any questions or confusions before we pop you into breakout groups, or is this making sense? Is there anything anyone would like to say? Any questions at all? All righty, well, I'm here if you guys need a hand, and we'll see you on the other side for playback. Not a Zoom tutorial.
This meeting is being recorded.
Welcome back, guys. I know that there are only 2 minutes left, which cuts our playback short, but if someone from one of the groups just wants to pop off mute and share how they found the storyboarding experience, because this is like the first step of, I guess, kind of deconstructing your story to put it all together. You got to do it in parts before you put it all together. So how did you guys find that activity? And if no one comes off mute, I'll pick on you. So just come off mute and talk.
I feel like you're looking at me, so maybe I'll just go, Radhika.
Okay, go for it.
All right, so this activity was pretty cool because we got to express our words using images. So yeah, just sometimes, you know, every time we sort of put our images on our thoughts, it helped us figure out where we're sitting, if that makes sense. Mm-hmm. So yeah, that was really good. We just really need to define our solution. That's the one thing. We need to define our solution and then move forward from there. But yeah, at this stage, we've got images to help us navigate through our solution. But yeah, we just need to come up with a robust solution.
Yeah, my suggestion to groups that are still trying to storm and form what their solution is, you can't really technically go ahead without kind of having that down pat, because now it's sort of the domino effect. So you can only build your narrative and your story and your compelling pitch once you know what you're pitching about, right? Which that's totally fine, and not just only your group, really, but other groups that are also in the same thing. I would suggest that between now and the next workshop, just really spend that time as a collective, if you haven't, refining what your solution is, and then slowly taking it from there. There is still some time between now and pitch, so use this time wisely to come together. And some of the groups we spoke to had to go back to square one and refine their how might we's before coming back today, and it's all part of the process. So it is 3 o'clock. I hope you guys enjoyed an introduction to storytelling. Apologies, time just zoomed by. I think this is the fastest workshop where we've run short for time, but hopefully you guys enjoyed it. If you have any questions at all, as always, I'm just a phone call away or an email away. Happy to answer questions or review anything you guys have for me to look at. And if not, I will see you in the next workshop of prototyping. But the homework task is please come with a refined version of today's workshop, because you will not be able to prototype without it. So have a good week, everyone. And I'll see you next week.
You too, guys. Thank you. Bye.
Thanks, Rad.